The Forbidden's vision, the great chamber of the Galactic Council, was silent. 1,000 different species sat in tall glass seats, circling a bright white orb at the center. The orb was the eye, a machine older than the Council itself. It had shown the future many times. But today, it had gone dark. No one knew why. Then, without warning, the orb flickered. Light filled the chamber. Every eye turned to the center. A distorted voice echoed from the orb. "This is Earth, year 2471. Transmission unlocked." Gasps filled the air. Earth was a level 2 planet, primitive, still growing. They were not allowed to send messages through time. Yet here it was. A clear image appeared above the orb. It showed Earth, but different. The sky was filled with giant black ships, shaped like blades. Thousands of them. They hovered without sound, covering the stars. Below, the cities glowed with white light. Humans walked in perfect order, no traffic, no chaos, no war. Then a voice spoke again. Calm, cold, human. "We tried peace. You ignored. US, we asked for trust. You mocked us. Now we bring order." The image blinked. One of the council elders, a snake-like being named Virial, hissed loudly. "This is a lie. Earth cannot build ships like that. Their world is divided. Their minds are weak." But another counselor, a spider-eyed creature called Solon, leaned forward. "I have studied humans. They are dangerous because they grow fast. What if this is real? What if we are too late?" The chamber erupted into arguments. In the shadows, a smaller being listened carefully. She was Counselor Rena, one of the youngest members. She was from a peaceful race of light dwellers. Her people believed in truth. But today, she felt fear. "Show me the origin," she whispered to the orb. The orb responded. A soft glow showed a date: Earth, 2213. Project Atlas activated. The room fell silent again. Rena stood. "We must send observers to Earth, immediately," Virial snarled. "That will cause panic. If they discover we saw their future." "They already know," Rena interrupted. "Did you not hear the message? You cannot unsee it. They sent it to us." This was a warning. The council voted. By a narrow margin, they agreed to send one observer disguised, hidden, human in form. His name was Kalen. Kalen had spent years studying human behavior. He wore human skin, walked like them, spoke like them. Now he stood in the middle of New Manhattan, a massive city built where the old world once stood. The buildings were tall, smooth, glowing with blue light. Drones flew quietly through the sky. No smoke, no noise. Just calm. Too calm. He walked into a cafe. The humans inside sat in silence, sipping from glass cups, eyes staring forward. No laughter, no arguments, no emotions. He sat near a group of children. They were silent too. Then one of them turned to look at him, a little girl with pale blue eyes. "You don't belong," she said. Kalen froze. "What do you mean?" She tilted her head. "Your heartbeat is wrong. Your fear is loud." Before he could reply, her teacher called her back. He left the cafe quickly. That night, he sent a message to the council. They are not human anymore. Something has changed them. This world feels empty. Back in the chamber, Rena listened to his message. Her skin glowed dimly, a sign of worry. Then the signal cut off. Kalen was gone. No explanation. No trace. Solon stood beside her. They found him. Rena clenched her fists. "We need to know what Project Atlas is. What did they build in 2213? The eye flickered again. Another image appeared. A strange machine, buried deep inside Earth. It had no name, no signals, no known power source. But it pulsed with light. And time, months passed. Then one day, the stars darkened. A single ship appeared above the council's sky. It was massive, black metal, no markings. It didn't fire. Instead, it sent a message. Every screen lit up with the face of a human. He wore no armor. No weapons. Just a black suit and calm eyes. You have seen what's coming. You cannot unsee it. Now choose. Interfere and be removed. Accept and be guided, Viriel growled. You threaten the galaxy? The human replied, no, we warn. The future is not war, it's unity. But unity under control. Our control. Solon shouted, why should we trust you? The human only smiled, because we've already won. You just don't know it yet. Rena went to the eye again. She requested a secret vision. A timeline where the council ignored the warning. The orb showed her a future, burning cities, lost worlds, council members begging for mercy. Then she asked for another vision. The council accepting Earth's offer. That one showed silence, peace. But not freedom. A choice had to be made. Later that night, Rena walked alone through the chamber halls. She stopped when she heard a voice behind her. You know the truth now, it said. She turned. It was the human. In the council's own building. How did you get in? He smiled. You invited us when you looked into the future. You opened the door. Rena stepped back. What is Project Atlas? He looked into her eyes. Atlas was a map. A way for us to look forward and backward. We found what didn't work. And we removed it. You changed your own history. We corrected it. She felt cold. That's impossible. The man's eyes glowed slightly. Not impossible, just expensive. It cost us our pain, our chaos, our freedom, but we survived. Now we offer the same to you. He walked away. The next day, the council gathered again. They had to vote. Resist Earth's future. Or accept it. But as they prepared, the eye activated one final time. It showed a single sentence across the chamber wall. The future was always ours. You just didn't see it yet. The chamber was silent, and somewhere above them, Earth's ships waited, not with weapons, but with patience. The human problem. The council chamber was colder than usual. It had been 7 days since the human ship left. 7 days since the warning. The message still echoed in Rena's mind. We've already won. You just don't know it yet. She sat alone, watching a file on her private console. It was old, hundreds of years old. It showed Earth's early broadcasts. Violence, division, so much noise. Humans had been called many things. Unstable, unpredictable, emotionally broken. They were never supposed to reach the stars. But they did, faster than anyone imagined. Rena opened the next file. This one was different. It was marked, classified council eyes only. It showed a map. Not of space. Of Earth. But every country was gone. No borders. No flags. Just one symbol. A silver circle with a black line through the middle. Project Atlas. High alert rang through the council chambers. Rena rushed in. Viriel, Solon, and others were already seated. We've received the second message, announced the I voice. The lights dimmed. A new recording played. It showed a timeline. Hundreds of Earth. Years flew past on the screen. Wars, revolutions, failures. Then, everything stopped at 2213. Project Atlas initiated, the human voice said. Our chaos ends here. The screen changed again. Humans were shown building something underground, a machine, round and glowing. Its energy signature was unreadable. Council scanners had missed it for centuries. This is the moment, Solon whispered. This is when everything changed. Viriel slammed the table. This is unnatural. No species evolves like this. Rena nodded slowly. Unless something or someone helped them. In another part of the galaxy, a secret meeting took place. Deep inside the moons of Caltrix 7, a council Black Ops team met with a rebel AI named Koran. It had once hacked Earth's satellites before going rogue. Now it floated freely, watching and collecting. The lead agent spoke. We need information on Project Atlas. KORON answered in its cold voice. You're too late. Atlas was not a project. It was a decision. What decision? To end. Failure. To become one mind, one purpose. Back on Earth, something strange happened. A transport ship carrying alien diplomats landed near New Siberia. The aliens expected a welcome. Instead, they found silence. The city was perfect, clean, bright. But empty. No sound. No people in the streets. Until suddenly, a human child appeared. He stood calmly, staring at them. The aliens tried to speak. The child raised his hand, and hundreds of humans stepped out. From the shadows all at once. Same walk, same clothes. Same expression. It wasn't a crowd. It was a signal. The aliens ran. Rena watched the footage. She whispered, "They aren't just organized. They're synchronized." Solon replied, "It's not logic driving them, it's design." Later that day, the council's top historian, Elder Korn, was invited to speak. He was over 1,000 years old. He spoke slowly, thoughtfully. Humans are the only species in the known galaxy to develop under constant emotional pressure. They lost everything. Over and over again, yet they rebuilt. This pain shaped them. But something changed. They no longer fear pain. They control it. Like a weapon. He paused. They were once a problem. Now they are a solution. But to what? Rena asked. To chaos, he replied. Their own and ours. The next message from Earth arrived 2 days later. This time, it wasn't a warning. It was an offer. A treaty. One that offered peace but under one rule. Unity through human order. Viril read it aloud in rage. This is not peace. This is submission. Solon leaned in. And if we refuse? Silence. Then the screen showed something new. Another planet. One far from Earth. Council territory. But now taken. Its flag replaced with the silver circle. You didn't see it happen, did you? Rena asked. No weapons. No war. Just control. That night, Rena went to the Hall of Truths. It was a quiet place, filled with memories of species who had disappeared. Civilizations who failed. She stood before a stone carving of the Drelkan, Empire species once known for their strength. But they didn't adapt. They didn't evolve. Now they were dust. The next council session was urgent. Multiple worlds had reported the same thing. Communication satellites going silent, human ships spotted, but never firing. Whole colonies shifting behavior without warning. The term began to spread, the Atlas effect, wherever Earth touched. Order followed, but not peace. Just silence. The council began to argue again. Fight them. Viril roared. We don't even understand them anymore, another said. We must learn how they did this. Rena insisted. In the quiet, Solon asked one final question. What if they didn't evolve? What if they were prepared? The spy who saw too much. Kalen's last message was short. Tense. Broken. They know. They looked at me. All of them, at once. Then static. He never sent another word, and he never came back. 3 weeks earlier, Kalen had returned to Earth. The council had disguised him again as a human tourist, complete with false memories and a body built to match. But this time, something felt wrong from the moment he arrived. People walked like machines, smiled like statues, even laughter sounded practiced. He stayed in a clean glass apartment in New Berlin. There were no doors, just biometric scans. No elevators, just light pads that transported people without sound. His goal was clear. Find the truth about Project Atlas. But the deeper he looked, the stranger things became. One night, he followed a group of humans heading underground. They moved as if they shared the same mind. They entered a hidden facility below the city. He followed quietly. What he saw changed everything. Rows of humans stood in chambers, eyes closed, heads tilted forward. Each chamber connected to a glowing blue core in the center. Lines of light passed between them like threads. Then he saw it, a name glowing above the core. Atlas, Phase 4, synchronization complete. Kalen activated his hidden recorder. He whispered, "It's not just control. It's connection. They're building a network of minds." Suddenly, one of the sleeping humans opened their eyes. They looked straight at him. Then every chamber door opened. Dozens of humans stepped out. Silent, in sync. Walking toward him. Ran, but there was no escape. Not from them. They didn't chase him. They simply appeared wherever he turned. The city was alive. Watching. He reached his hotel. Tried to send one last message to the council. They're not planning to join the galaxy. They're planning to guide it. Then, silence. Forever. Back in the council, Rena stared at the blank screen. "He was inside Atlas," she whispered. Viril growled. "Then he was compromised." "No." Solon said, "He was eliminated." Rena replied, "No, he was absorbed." The eye activated again. This time, it didn't wait for permission. It played something new. Footage from Earth's moon. A base one never recorded before was shown. It had no entrance, no lights, no ships. Just a dome glowing faintly inside. Another Atlas core. But this one was bigger. And pulsing. Then a voice filled the chamber. Not from the eye, from everywhere. "We warned you not to interfere." It was the same voice from earlier messages. Human, calm, cold. He entered without permission. He saw what wasn't his to see. Viril shouted, "You killed our spy." The voice replied, "No, he is not dead. He is part of us now. And he has seen truth." A still image appeared on every screen. Kalen. Smiling. Standing beside the Atlas core. The council exploded into noise. Fear. Anger. Confusion. Solun said, "They don't need armies. They just need us to look." Rena sat quietly. Something had shifted. Inside her, they're not invading, they're inviting. Viril turned to her, angry. "You want to accept this? I want to survive." Later that night, Rena went alone to the council's private library. She opened ancient records. She searched for any species that had attempted synchronization of minds. There were only 3, all had failed. Minds fought each other. Differences destroyed balance. But humans? They had always fought among themselves. Maybe that's why they succeeded. They had learned how to lose and keep going. They didn't fear unity. They feared being alone. Suddenly, her console blinked. A private message appeared. From an unknown source. It read, "You don't need to fear Atlas. You're already inside it." She looked up. The room had no cameras. No open connections. Yet the message faded on its own. The next morning, the council held a secret meeting. Not all members attended. Some had vanished or defected. Solon showed new footage. "One of our colonies in the Zenth quadrant now flies a new flag." The image was simple, a silver circle, the Atlas symbol, no shots fired. No weapons used. They simply agreed. Viril roared, "They're being controlled." But another member, Elder Yorin, shook his head. Or they chose order over fear. The council began to fracture. Some wanted war, others wanted answers, but deep down, they all knew the same truth. Humanity had become something else. Not conquerors, not monsters, but something. Worse. Something certain. At that moment, the eye flickered once more. A new voice spoke. This time, it was Kalen's, but his tone was different. Empty, soft. "I was once like you, divided, unsure. But now, I see." His eyes glowed faintly. Smiled, "You will too." The screen went dark. And in that silence, the stars outside the chamber seemed to shift, not with movement, but with intention. The Earth ultimatum. The stars, over Keldon 5, darkened. Every species on the Galactic Council felt it. Not with sight, but instinct, a presence, a shadow, a change, and then it arrived. A ship unlike any ever recorded entered Council space. It did not warp. It did not jump. It simply appeared. Black metal. Silent engines, smooth and vast like a piece of the night itself had taken shape. It hovered above the Grand Council Hall without a word. No lights, no symbols. Just presence. Inside the chamber, alarms rang out. Council guards scrambled. Fighters were launched. Viriel stood furious. Weapons online. Prepare to fire. But Rena raised her hand. Wait, look closer. Everyone did. The ship hadn't armed itself. It hadn't moved an inch. And then it spoke. Not through a channel. Not through the eye. Through every device, every speaker, every mind. We gave you time. We gave you vision. Now you must choose. A beam of soft blue light shot from the ship down into the chamber. It formed a hologram. Man stepped out of the light. Human. Tall. Calm. Wearing no armor, no weapon. Only a black coat. And a silver badge, the Atlas symbol. He looked around the chamber. You feared what we would become. We became it. You feared we would bring war. We brought order. Viriel hissed. Order through fear is still war. The man tilted his head. Do your people sleep in peace? Are your streets free of chaos? Do your colonies agree on law, peace, progress? No one answered, because the answer was no. The human stepped forward. His eyes glowed faintly. Not technology. Not magic. Just control. We offer you choice. Join us and rise with us. Reject us and be left behind. The council chamber exploded with voices. Is this a threat? Why now? Where is your proof of peace? The human looked at Rhena. As if he knew she was the one who truly listened. We will show you. And then, before the council could even respond, the hologram disappeared. A second later, across the galaxy, a war ended. Planet Pheros 2 had been at war for 179 years. Two alien races, the Kern and the Bexel, had fought without rest. Even Council peacekeepers failed to stop them. But at 7:02 Standard Galactic Time, something changed. A new ship entered orbit. It was silent. It never fired. Instead, small drones landed on the surface. Within 1 hour, all weapons on both sides stopped working. Without damage, without violence. Soldiers dropped their rifles. Confused, leaders received a single message. Peace has arrived. Maintain silence. Observe. And they did. Council probes confirmed it. No casualties. No destruction. Just obedience. Back in the chamber, the eye displayed a live feed. Two enemies now sat across from each other, drinking clean water, staring at the sky in silence. Not allies, but no longer enemies. Viriel was speechless. Solon whispered, "This is not technology." Rena whispered back, "This is design." That night, the council debated endlessly. One side argued Earth must be stopped, that no one should hold that much power. The other side asked a painful question. If they can do what we never could, should we stop them? Rena stood and addressed the chamber. We've always feared the future. But Earth didn't. They ran toward it. They fixed themselves. We haven't. Maybe. We aren't the rulers anymore. The next day, the human ship returned. This time, no speech. No drama. Just a message. In 7 days, your choice will be locked. Join us. Retain your place in the coming order. Refuse and watch from the outside. Across the stars, panic spread. Some species welcomed Earth. Some prepared for war. Some vanished quietly into hiding. In a quiet part of the council complex, Rena sat alone, reading the final report from Kalen, the spy who disappeared. The file had been hidden. Encrypted. But now it played clearly. Kalen's face appeared. He looked calm. Smiling. Changed. I thought I was alone. But they helped me see, helped me let go. The chaos in my mind is gone. They didn't take my freedom. They helped me use it. Atlas is not a prison, it's the key. He looked into the camera. You're scared. I was too. But fear doesn't stop the future. It only delays it. The message ended, and in her heart, Rena knew the future was here, and it was wearing a human face. The day of the test, the countdown began. 7 days. That was Earth's deadline to the Galactic Council. 7 days to choose. Join the human-led system, or be left behind. But on day 3, something unexpected happened. Earth made an offer. Let US show you. Not a threat, not a demand, a test. The location? Veltrax 9, a dying world ruled by war. 3 species fought for control of its rich core. The Sherrock, sharp-fanged reptiles with fire weapons. The Malv, shadowed beasts using sonic shockwaves. And the Yllari, insectoid tacticians with hive drones. Each race had rejected peace. Even the Council failed to stop them. For 63 years, Veltrax burned. But now, Earth chose it as their proving ground. Not to conquer, to demonstrate. The Council protested. This is madness, shouted V-Real. You can't just land on a war zone. Rena sat silently, watching. The eye activated. Live feed from Veltrax. High orbit showed a black Earth ship. Above the battlefield. It didn't fire. No shields up. No weapons visible. It simply hovered. Then something dropped from its underbelly. Small pods, silent, dozens of them. Each shaped like a teardrop. They fell fast, then stopped mid-air. Just floated. Council cameras zoomed in. Inside each pod was a single human, standing perfectly still, eyes closed, hands by their sides. And then they opened their eyes. Across Veltrax, the war paused. The Sherrock stopped mid-charge. The Malv froze during their howl. The Yllari drones powered down without signal. Everyone looked up. They felt something, a pull, not fear, not force, just clarity. One of the human observers stepped forward. Woman. No weapons, no armor. She walked directly into the battlefield between the Sherrock and the Malv. And they didn't move. She spoke. Her voice echoed, not loud, but deep. You were raised for war, but you were born for more. No one fired, not one soldier, not one scream. The war ended. Council members stared in shock. How is this possible? One muttered. It must be a mind weapon, said another. But Rena whispered, no, it's alignment. The eyes zoomed out. Veltrax was silent. The sky cleared. The war was gone. No blood, no blast. Just quiet. Then one final pod opened. A human stepped out with a black scroll in hand. He placed it on the ground and stepped back. The 3 species approached. They looked at the scroll. It displayed a simple phrase, welcome to the future, and below it, speak, we will listen. The feed cut. The room was silent. Solon finally broke it. They didn't dominate. They didn't bribe. They invited. V-Real slammed a fist. This is control, disguised as peace. Rena turned. But it worked. Later that night, Council networks lit up. Citizens across the stars had seen the feed. Billions were asking, if Earth can stop war without killing, shouldn't we listen? Secret meetings began. Old alliances broke. New loyalties formed. Earth was no longer a question. It was an answer. On day 6, Earth sent another message. This time short. Veltrax chose peace. You have 1 day left. Rena walked alone through the gardens of the Council Tower. Solon joined her. Did you ever think it would be humans? She shook her head. They were loud, divided, broken. But maybe that was their training. He looked up. Tomorrow decides everything. She nodded. And they already know our answer. Because Earth wasn't forcing the future. It had simply become it. The code inside us all, they called it peace. The Council called it control. but one alien scientist called it a puzzle. Her name was Dr. Alari Fenn, a geneticist from the planet Urxel, quiet, curious, obsessed with patterns. After Earth's peaceful takeover of Veltrex 9, Alari made a request. I want access to human DNA. The council hesitated, but they were desperate to understand how Earth had changed so fast. So they agreed. Alari received samples from 3 humans, 1 soldier, 1 child, 1 civilian from Veltrax. They looked normal, but what she found inside was not. The DNA was perfect, too. Perfect. Not just healthy. Refined. Like someone had edited it. Even worse, each sample was slightly different, yet aligned with the others. Like pieces of a larger code. A code that didn't exist before year 2213. Alari compared it with old Earth samples. Before Project Atlas, what she discovered made her hands shake. The old DNA was chaotic, what you'd expect from a developing race. The new DNA? It wasn't just improved. It had memory. Not memories of life, but memories of structure, like someone had taught the human body how to be better. This is not natural, she whispered. This is design. She took her findings to Rena, inside a private chamber. She laid the data out. Charts, screens, genetic maps. This can't evolve in just 200 years, Alari said. Unless something or someone helped them. Rena stared at the screen, then asked the question everyone feared. Did humans change themselves? Alari hesitated, then nodded. Not with machines, with time. Elsewhere in the council, a discovery added more fear. A new structure was found under Earth's moon. Not a base, not a weapon, a temporal relay, built into the rock. Invisible to all standard scans. Council researchers confirmed it emitted low-level time signals. It was older than any human satellite, and it had been active since 2213. Counselor Solon said it aloud first. They didn't just look into the future. They changed their past. Rena called an emergency session. The chamber was tense. She presented Alari's findings and the moon relayed. The room fell into silence. Viriel finally shouted, "They've broken nature!" Another counselor whispered, "Or fixed it." Solon stood. "We called them emotional, chaotic, dangerous. But they used their pain like a tool. They cut out what held them back." Rena added, "They didn't become better overnight. They saw what needed to change, and they became it." That night, Rena requested a private audience with Earth's ambassador. She was taken aboard the Obsidian, the same black ship that hovered silently over Council space. Inside, no crew, no noise, just light. And a man. Human. The same man from the ultimatum. Rena set. "Your DNA changed." He nodded. "It had to. Our wars would have never stopped. Our division would have destroyed us. So we found another way." She asked, "Did you travel through time?" "No. We sent ideas back, through light, through dreams, through code." She stared. "That's not possible." He looked calm. "It is, when your species wants to survive more than it wants to stay the same." She stood to leave, then asked, "Why share this with us?" "Because we want you to choose. Freedom means nothing if no one else is free." When she left the ship, she didn't speak. Not that night. Not the next day. Not until the final vote. Inside the council, the debate had reached its end. The facts were clear. Earth had changed, not by chance, by choice. And now it was offering that choice to others. Viriel shouted. "They rewrote their nature. They're no longer human." Rena replied quietly, "Maybe that's what being human always meant, to adapt." And high above them, Earth's ships waited, not to attack, to see what the galaxy would do next. The vote that shook the stars. The chamber was full. For the first time in centuries, every seat of the Galactic Council was occupied. Over 500 different species from gas breathers to light walkers had gathered. The topic was simple, but the weight of it could crush galaxies. Earth. And the future. The Council had 3 options. Accept Earth's leadership under the new Atlas Order. Reject Earth and cut all communication. Declare them a threat and prepare for war. But deep down everyone knew there were only 2 real choices: join them or try to stop them. Rena stood first. Her voice calm, her light dim but steady. We watched them rise. We feared their violence. But we never expected this. They fixed what we couldn't. They reached unity not by force, but by choice. Viriel rose second. His voice sharp. You call this unity? It is domination. They rewrote their species. They changed time itself. No one should have that power. Solon spoke next. He played a short clip. A child from the planet Zeruan was smiling beside a human instructor. The child had once been raised in a war zone. Now he built machines with other alien students. This was a battlefield, Solon said, until Earth arrived. Now it is a school. The chamber murmured. Change was happening, without blood, without bribes. But then, something unexpected happened. A counselor from the Dralek Swarma, species known for secrecy, stood up and removed his hood. He was part human. Gasps filled the room. My hive joined Atlas 5 years ago, he said. In secret, we sent ambassadors to Earth. Our drones no longer fight. We build, we heal. We didn't lose freedom. We gained purpose. Chaos spread. What? They infiltrated us. No, we let them in. More delegates stood, one by one, admitting their planets had already joined the Atlas network. Quietly. Voluntarily. And Earth had said nothing. No celebrations. No boasts. Just results. Rena stood again. We feared they would conquer. Instead, they convinced. Then, the final moment came. The high voice called the vote. Cast your star. 1 light for alliance. 2 for rejection. 3 for war. The orbs above each seat began to glow. Blue for alliance. Yellow for rejection. Red for war. The room darkened. Silence. One by one, the lights formed. The vote was slow. Painful. Every species counted. Every light recorded. When the last light glowed, the chamber waited. The high voice spoke. The vote is complete. The result, 312 blue. Accept Earth's guidance. 97 yellow. Refuse. Isolate Earth. 94 red. Prepare for war. The vote was clear. Earth had won. Not by force. Not by fear. By future. Suddenly, the chamber lights dimmed. A soft pulse spread through the air. A projection appeared. It was Earth's envoy, the same man as before. Black coat. Calm voice. No guards. No pride. Just presence. You chose. We welcome you. Those who rejected us, we will not punish. We will protect you anyway. A pause. Those who chose war, you've already lost. Rena asked, what happens now? He smiled. Now the real work begins. Together. After the session ended, some counselors left in silence. Some wept. Some celebrated. Some simply breathed. For the first time in centuries, the future was clear. And it had a face. Human. Late that night, Rena stood on her balcony, looking at the stars. One glowed brighter than the rest, not because it was closer, but because it was active. Earth. And around it, ships no longer waited. They prepared for something bigger. Not conquest. Not control, but something only humanity would dare dream. United Galaxy. The future was always ours. Years passed. Not many, just enough to see the change, enough for the galaxy to realize. Earth had not taken control. They had shared it, but on their own terms. Not with chaos. Not with greed. With design. With purpose. With Atlas. The Galactic Council still existed, but it was no longer the top. Now, it sat beside Earth's circle of harmony, a new leadership model made of every race that had joined the Atlas Order. There were still Disagreements, still debates. But something had changed. No wars broke out. No civilizations collapsed. No planets went dark. Peace had finally arrived. But it wasn't soft. It wasn't perfect. It was earned. Rena stood in the newly built Hall of Becoming, a structure at the heart of Earth's Unity Station. It floated in deep space, neutral, shared by all. The walls were lined with stone from 1,000 worlds. Each species had placed their own mark on it. The ceiling shimmered with starlight that shifted every few hours. And at the center, on a raised platform, stood the Atlas core. Not hidden. Not feared. Welcomed. A young alien boy from the cold world of Shaw approached it. He placed his hand on the glass. The core glowed softly. It didn't take control. It didn't speak, but it felt calm. The boy smiled. It feels like home. Rena turned to the human beside her, not the envoy from before, a girl, no older than 20. She had bright eyes and wore simple clothes. She was the new Atlas voice, chosen by both humans and non-humans alike. She looked around the hall and asked, "Do you think they'll forget what it took?" Rena shook her head. "Not if we keep telling the story." Elsewhere, on the edge of the galaxy, a council scout discovered something unusual. A small planet, once believed to be uninhabitable, now had lights. Structures. Life. Humans had terraformed it with help from a dozen alien species. The scout sent a message. They're not just building order. They're building futures. In hidden archives, old messages from Earth's past were open to the public. One of them came from Project Atlas's original founder, a woman named Evelyn Myra. Her words echoed across news feeds. "We weren't the strongest. We weren't the smartest, but we were the most broken. And because of that, we were the first to see we needed to change. We didn't rise because we were destined to. We rose because we refused to fall again." Back at Unity Station, a celebration began. It had been 10 standard years since the vote. Now, every year on this day, the galaxy gathered, not to remember war, but to honor what came after. Vireal had long retired. Solon had become an Atlas historian. Rena? She stood beside the young Atlas voice, watching as children from many races released lights into the sky. Each one carried a simple message, not in words, but in code. Atlas code, the kind that didn't force obedience, but offered clarity. And hope. Lights rose, millions of them. Some would say it was symbolic. Others would call it programming. But Rena called it what it truly was. Trust, the kind the galaxy had never shared before. She looked up. One final time. At the stars. Earth. At the shipyards, now orbiting 1,000 suns. And she whispered the words carved into the Hall of Becoming. The future was always ours. We just had to see it first. Far away, in the quiet dark, something ancient watched. A forgotten probe. It had once been sent by humans centuries ago. Now, it received the new signal. From Earth. From the Council. From the galaxy. The message was simple and beautiful. We are still here. And we are not alone.